Hi guys, utility softball founder, infield and catching coach here. My name is Coach Drum, or Callie Drum as most parents know me. So I just wanted to make this little informational video about my background as a coach, as a player, knowing that, getting to know the camp and myself a little bit more and really getting our presence out there online. To start off, the location of the camp, so far the last 3 years, because I established utility softball back in July 2018, and we had our first go at it. It's been in Prattsville, New York, at the Prattsville Town Park. They have a beautiful softball field there, and they have let me use it and take care of it for a week pretty much, so I can use the field. And it's a beautiful field, it's a beautiful facility, and I can't thank the town of Prattsville enough for that, especially only being now 23. I was only 20 at the time when I first started the camp. So letting a 20-year-old kind of take the reins, it takes a lot of trust, and I'm so happy that they did that. So a little bit about myself. I come from Windham, New York. It's an extremely, extremely small upstate town. In my high school, I graduated with 28 kids in one K-12 building. So I grew up with everybody that I graduated with pretty much since the age of 3. Going into high school, I played a lot of sports. I played softball all year round. I played softball on the high school team. I played soccer, and I played basketball. And that's, 7th through 8th pretty much every year. And I really didn't start playing travel until 7th or 8th grade, around that. I got a late start compared to a lot of the girls I ended up playing travel with who were playing at, 5, 6 years old. Unfortunately, there were no camps. There were no local teams that I could remotely even get on. And unfortunately, we had to end up traveling about 45 minutes to an hour for just practices for travel, me and my mom. And it was hard because, I grew up with younger siblings and everything, so that was extremely difficult. And any camps that I wanted to attend, or I was invited to, or I was given as an idea to go, unfortunately, they were on the more expensive side, and every day we had to drive nearly an hour to an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to go to a camp. So, I grew up kind of traveling a lot just due to the fact that I didn't have anything locally. As far as my playing experiences, I have experiences with the softball factory and Under Armour at camps. I was invited to try out for the junior national team. I was actually nominated by my coach. Went to the tryout. Unfortunately did not make it, but I was selected to go to Dodgertown and train for a week down there. I played 2 years at the Division II NAIA level. Unfortunately, I got hurt a short while after that, and after the trip I made to the Netherlands and Belgium playing for the SAW USA that represents student athletes over in Europe while playing softball, I messed my shoulder up pretty bad. And I had to hang the cleats up, and that's when I decided to kind of start my camp. I'm also currently the head coach at Columbia Green Community College in Hudson, New York. So I have a lot of playing experience. I have, quite a bit of coaching experience, only being 23 years old. I have that experience working with children as well. So working with teenagers, middle schoolers, it's, I work with them every day. So we are very well versed in working with athletes and players and getting to know your player as a person, as an athlete, as an overall individual, and we value that so much. Now, about the softball camp itself, it's held in Prattsville, New York, and it was established in 2018. We had our first annual camp that same year. We pride ourselves on the ability to connect with our players and push them to their absolute full potential. We believe every year that every player that attends has the ability to play and give their all on the field at all times, whether it be batting, defense, whatever you say, even hustling to the ball or hustling to pick some equipment up. At the camp, we polish skill sets and mechanics, all while introducing new and exciting ways to execute defense and offense, and new different ways of thinking about things and different cutoffs and plays, and we kind of all just take it into account. So utility softball camp really believes that almost every player that has the ability to be successful in not just one position either. So your main position, you also can be successful in a different position. We train our players to be well-rounded athletes and have a love for the game just as much as we do. The reason why we established this camp, or I established this camp, I got a couple of old, friends to do it with me, and it's kind of just become this thing that I've really just looked forward to doing every year. So utility softball was established through mainly observation. I have two younger sisters. Growing up in high school, I was a part of a fairly successful team, and it's awesome. That's one of, I think, the biggest reasons why I just enjoyed, playing. It wasn't just because we were winning, but we were cohesive. We worked as a team, and it was flawless a lot of the time. It was just fun, and even if you weren't playing, it was fun to watch. But especially living in rural upstate New York in the mountains, our numbers the past couple years, and it's not just our school, but it's all the schools around us as well, have extremely low numbers, especially in female programs. And it's because, number one, the girls don't have anything locally they can do. Locally, they don't have any, little leagues they can play that are softball. They don't have any, travel teams locally that they can play. I know one just got established a few years ago, but, it's going to be a while till those kids are feeding into the varsity level programs here. So not much interest or opportunity has been given outside of the high school level program. And with that being said, the less that you practice, you may not love it as much, and you may end up just, it may end up just falling by the wayside, and it could be just really something that you enjoy. So, why don't we try our hardest to try and get these young female students and athletes to participate in this sort of stuff. And I really think my camp, and I have been told by several high school coaches as well, that it really fills that hole in the community and in the program that the high school programs can't reach. So we do teach young girls to become more well-rounded athletes, but also strong individuals, and something they can be passionate about and feel okay to be passionate about. And we stand by our mission to encourage young females in sports. But unfortunately, and if you're watching this video and you're from the area, it's extremely hard for girls around here, to play sports in general. My younger sisters and I, as I explained, we had to travel a lot to go to a decent camper on a travel team, and sports programs in these rural and small parts of upstate New York, or realistically, I'm sure anywhere else that is, of the country-esque feel, they either don't fund female sports because there's not enough interest, or they don't support it the same way that they do the parallel male teams. So, like, boys in this area, they've had basketball leagues, they get Little League, they get Babe Ruth, they have Legion baseball, even basketball or soccer. The girls have really next to nothing, and I know that because I grew up here. So that's realistically why I started this camp, and I think it is just really, like I said, filling a hole in these communities around here that need to be paid attention to. Just because we are girls does not mean that we cannot play or be passionate about a sport the same way, or even more than a boy, and I can 110% say that with confidence, because guess what? I'm passionate about softball just as much or even more as some of the male peers I grew up with. We need to be given the same opportunity as male athletes, and opportunity is the key word I'm using. And it's, not because you offer baseball, you have to offer softball. Get that, Title IX, 110%. But just because you are given the opportunity to play on the equivalent female team does not mean it is equal. Just because you offer the equivalent program in school does not mean it's equal, because you need to give the equal opportunity as well as, or it's really realistically not justified. And I think a lot of the outside programs outside of school kind of forget that girls may just be just as interested in Little League as little boys are, Of course, you're going to have to switch their mechanics up a little bit, but, it's definitely not well received a lot of the time. And I think we're doing a great thing here, and I think we're really filling that hole for girls, and I think we're really kind of starting a fire underneath them, and, not even just teaching them about softball or, but we're teaching them how they can be strong female athletes, individuals, and really stand their ground and be able to care about something just as much as anybody else can. So that's about me and the camp and why I started it, and really kind of what has driven me to this point. I love to coach. So if you guys have any information that you want about the camp, you can send us an email, find us on Facebook or Instagram. Also, eventually, I am going to pick up a camcorder because this quality is horrible. But at the same point in time, if you guys also want me to go over any, information about being recruited, I was recruited, so I totally understand where you're coming from with that, or recruiting, or setting up your own camp, or coaching, or, team stuff. I go to coaches conventions, so I'm actually going to one this weekend in Connecticut. I'm super excited about. So, yeah, everybody have a great and fantastic day, and see you guys out on the field.